Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, devotees, Dhanvat Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you to Meenakshi Mohini, Pawan Prabhuji for facilitating the chanting. Start with prayers. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminate Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, we'll sing our Godhanashtakam. Anybody would like to sing today? Then I'll continue. Okay, let me continue then. Krishna prasadena samasta shaila samrajyamapnoti cha vairinopi shakrasya ya prapabalim sasakshat govardhano me dishatam abhishtam swapreshthahastam bhujasau kumarya सुखानुभूतेरतिभूमिवृत्ते महेन्द्रवज्राहतिमप्यजानन् गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम् यत्रैव कृष्णो वृषभानुपुत्र्या दानं ग्रहीतुं कलहं वितेने श्रुते स्पृहा यत्र महत्यतः श्री गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम् स्नात्वा सरस्वाशुसमीरहस्ति यत्रैव निपादिपरागधूलिः आलोलयन् खेलति चारु स श्री गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम् कस्तूरिकाभिषयितं किमत्रित् ऊहं प्रभो स्वस्य मुहुर्वितन्वन् नैसर्गिका स्वीयशिला सुगन्धे गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम् वंशप्रतिध्वान्यनुसारवर्त्म दिदृक्षवो यत्र हरिं हरिण्यः यन्त्यो लभन्ते न हि विस्मितास गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम् यत्रैव गङ्गाम् अनुनाविराधाम् आरोह्य मध्ये तु निमग्ननौका कृष्णो हि राधानुगलो बभौ स गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम् विना भवेत् किं हरिदासवर्य पदाश्रयं भक्तिरतः श्रयामि यम् एव स प्रेम निजेशयो श्री गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम् एतत् पठेद्यो हरिदासवर्य महानुभावाष्टकमादृचेता श्रीराधिका माधवयोपदाब्ज दास्यं स विन्देत् अचिरेण साक्षात् गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम् गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम् हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री गोवर्धनाष्टकम की जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर महाशय की जय। जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। Okay, anyone who would like to read the translation?
I can read.
Yes, please, Shri Mataji. Yeah.
May Govardhan Hill, which by Krishna's mercy became the king of all mountains and received the respectful tribute of its arch enemy Indra, fulfill my desire. As it was held above the earth, it became so filled with happiness by experiencing the softness of its beloved Krishna's lotus hand, it did not even know it was being struck by Indra's thunderbolt. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Trying to collect a toll, Krishna quarreled there with King Vrishbanu's daughter. The personified Vedas yearn to list to that quarrel. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Bathing in a nearby lake, the elephant of a pleasant breeze, covered with pollen of kadamba and other flowers, gracefully placed there. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Does the sweet fragrance of Govardhan come from the musk deer who relaxed there, from the Lord who placed there, or is it Govardhan's own natural scent? May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Searching there for Lord Hari, Searching there for Lord Hari on the path of his flute music, the astonished deer do not find him. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. As the divine couple travelled on the Ganges there, the boat began to sink in the middle. Krishna was splendidly handsome as Radha clung to his neck. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Without taking shelter of the feet of the hill that is the best of Lord Hari's servants, and full of love for the divine king and queen, how is it possible to attain pure devotional service? May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. May the reader of these 8 verses, glorifying Lord Hari's greatest servant, his heart melting with pure love, quickly attain direct service to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Madhav. Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna, Tathastu, like Krishna will say. So he's blessing all of us and whoever is singing and reading these prayers, may they attain pure love for Godhead. Yes. So as we were saying yesterday, yeah, Prabhupada is in Philadelphia, and as he came, it was almost like Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill and the rain stopped, just like this. And then these reporters, they're asking questions. That lady, she's thinking she knows everything, right? So she's like the personified Vedas. They yearn to listen, but she's trying to listen. That's okay. Prabhupada is not looking at her faults, but she's trying to ask questions as if she's saying that, I want my readers to know. I already know everything. So anyway, so Prabhupada is not looking at her faults, but he's saying that, okay, whatever is whatever she's trying to do, he's trying to preach to her so that knowing that whatever she would learn and then she would also pass on to her readers. So anyway, so he's answering questions of these reporters in Philadelphia after having finished the Rath Yatra ceremony in Philadelphia in 1975. And these ladies are again asking him about everything about Krishna consciousness and who we are and why the devotees are behaving as they do and about women's liberation and whatnot. So anyway, so let's continue. Prabhupada very nicely and sweetly answering all their questions and explaining, giving a lot of nice analogies about why the devotees treat the guru as God, because he is representative of the government, just like a government officer. So he's a representative, pure representative of the Lord. So that's why we respect him as the Lord himself. But he doesn't think himself as Lord. He himself always thinks himself as the servant of the Lord. Okay, so we'll continue from here. Miss Jones, I wonder about the many beautiful material things that the devotees bring to you. For instance, when you left the airport, you left in a big, beautiful, fancy car. And I wonder about this. Prabhupada, that is teaching them how to respect. If you respect a government man as government, then you must treat him like that. If you respect the spiritual master as God, then you must offer him the facilities of God. Otherwise, how should he treat me as God? Simply in his mind? No, in action also. Miss Jones, I'm sorry. What was that you said? Prabhupada, if the spiritual master is treated as God, so the devotee must practically show how he is treating him as God. God travels by a golden car. So, if a spiritual master is offered an ordinary motor car, still it is not sufficient because he has to be treated like God. What is this motor car for God? The devotees laughed at Prabhupada's bold logic. They had never thought of it quite like that. If the Guru is God's representative, then why quibble if he is offered a mere Cadillac of this material world? Prabhupada, they are still deficient. If God comes to your home, will you bring him an ordinary motor car? Or would you arrange for a golden car? So your point is that they offer me a nice motor car. But I say it is not sufficient. They are still lacking to treat him as God. Be practical. Miss Jones didn't think it was funny. She had another question. Her questions became more challenging. Prabhupada explained to her how she must have spiritual vision to see things in their proper perspective. But if you have no eyes, therefore you are envious because they have offered me a nice motor car. So you have to make your eyes to see. A blind man cannot see. The eyes are to be treated. How to see? Miss Jones had one more question. One of the most difficult things to understand in Krishna consciousness, she said, was the deities. How could someone brought up in the West accept that the deities represented God? Srila Prabhupada first explained that the spiritual soul within the body was the real self. Therefore, he said, as you cannot see the spirit, you cannot see the Supreme Spirit or God. But to show his kindness upon you, he has appeared just like wood and stone, so that you can see. The two reporters were finished with their questions, and they thanked Prabhupada, who then turned his attention to others in the room. When a father of one of the devotees mentioned that he himself professed no religion, Srila Prabhupada replied indirectly that the father was therefore a fool. The man admitted it. The mother, however, was more spiritually inclined, and Prabhupada praised her, stating that the son takes on the traits of the mother. Another guest spoke. I would like to ask Swami, would you pray for me? I am praying for everyone, Prabhupada replied softly. That is my business. Otherwise, why have I come here? A woman addressed Prabhupada. As a mother, I too wish to thank you. My daughter, Joy, has found Krishna consciousness. She has been recommended for initiation tomorrow. Prabhupada. So we recommend everyone, every American should be initiated. That is our recommendation. The sooner you accept this proposal, it is good for you. To know God and love Him, is there any difficulty? Some have become interested. Why not others? Prabhupada again glanced at the father, who claimed to have no religion. Your son is interested, he said. Why the father is not interested? What is the reason? Thus the evening darshana continued, until after a few hours Prabhupada ended it and distributed prasadam. When the last guest had left, several of the women devotees asked Prabhupada about the actual position of his women disciples. He smiled. When a woman becomes Krishna conscious, he said, her brain is automatically bigger. The devotees laughed. As he smiled, his devotees understood him perfectly. Whoever became a devotee, man or woman, became more intelligent. Being transcendental to the issue of a man's or women's rights, Prabhupada saw beyond the designation of the body. He saw that the criterion for intelligence wasn't material, one's sex, race, or nationality, but was one's desire for spiritual life. A woman devotee asked Prabhupada a further question about the position of women, and he replied, of course, you are not a woman, you are a devotee. Srila Prabhupada agreed to see several professors, acquaintances of Ravindra Swarupas. Having received his BA in philosophy from the University of Pennsylvania and his MA from Temple University, Ravindra Swarupa was now pursuing a PhD from Temple. He had once given up academics as part of the world of Maya and had fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. But Prabhupada had encouraged him to return for a further degree. While in Philadelphia, Srila Prabhupada had spoken out against the process of inductive reasoning. On one morning walk, Ravindra Swarupa had said, Prabhupada, the same criticism that you just made of induction was also made by John Stuart Mill and Bertrand Russell, but they became skeptics. They say, therefore, there is no knowledge at all. That is another nonsense, Srila Prabhupada had replied. That is also speculation. Because I have failed, therefore there is no knowledge? Dr. Yogesh Patel, a Western-educated Indian-born scholar of Buddhism and Mayavad Hinduism, taught in the religion department at Temple University. Accompanied by two graduate students, Dr. Patel dropped by one afternoon while Srila Prabhupada was talking in his room with several of his disciples. Ravindra Swarupa made the introductions. Prabhupada, so you are teaching Hinduism? Dr. Patel, yes. Prabhupada, what is that Hinduism? Dr. Patel, I don't know. You tell me what Hinduism is. Prabhupada, you don't know? You are teaching Hinduism, but you don't know what it is? This is our Dr. Swarup Damodar. He is also a PhD. Let us get his opinion on this. Turning to Swarup Damodar. What do you think of that? He is teaching, but he does not know. Swarup Damodar Goswami. Cheater, Srila Prabhupada. That is called cheater. Prabhupada. So, you have heard his judgment that you are a cheater. Dr. Patel became angry and raised his voice at Srila Prabhupada. The professor and Srila Prabhupada were immediately into a battle. Dr. Patel, you teach me. If I say I don't know what is religion, then you teach me. Prabhupada, a spiritual master is not your servant. First you become shaven-headed like my students, then I will teach you. You have to offer your obeisances and surrender to the spiritual master. Then he will reveal the truth. Dr. Patel replied that he did offer his obeisances to Prabhupada when he first entered the room. Prabhupada, then my first instruction to you is to stop this cheating. By now, both Srila Prabhupada and Dr. Patel were speaking with raised voices. Most of the devotees were shocked, speechless. Some of them, like Brahmananda Swami, felt compelled to somehow end the meeting. Prabhupada, you ask me what is religion. My reply is Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Krishna says religion means Sharanam Braja, fully surrender. Dr. Patel, what do you mean by surrender? Prabhupada, you don't know the meaning of surrender? Give me a dictionary. Let us see. Dr. Patel, yelling, no, I want the Sanskrit etymological meaning of surrender. Prabhupada, you don't want a spiritual master. You want a Sanskrit teacher. We cannot waste our time anymore. Ramananda Swami saw this as his cue and he leaned over to Dr. Patel and asked him to leave. Before you get offensive. Dr. Patel and Ramananda Swami then rose and left the room together. Srila Prabhupada remained shaking with anger. The senior devotees looked over at Ravindra Swarupa reproachfully. How could he bring such a man to see Prabhupada? Ravindra Swarupa was appalled and frightened. Never before had anyone seen Prabhupada explode with such anger. After staying up all night, Ravindra Swarupa approached Prabhupada the next morning with a prepared apology. Srila Prabhupada, he began, I'm really sorry that I brought that professor to see you last night. I had no idea he was such a rascal. Srila Prabhupada looked up in surprise. Oh, he said, that is all right. He paused and then added with quiet satisfaction. At least he was chastised. Dr. Thomas Hopkins, another teacher of Hinduism, came to see Prabhupada, but in a much different mood. From the beginning, they experienced an immediate rapport. Dr. Hopkins asked Prabhupada the relationship of Bhagavad Gita to Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada replied that the Bhagavatam was like the graduate study of the Gita, beginning where the Gita left off. Dr. Hopkins, if someone was going to collect a very small section of your work, say 1 or 2 verses, what would you want them to collect? That is stated in 2 verses, Prabhupada replied. Dharmasya hi apa vargasya. And he had the translation read. All occupational engagements, dharmas, are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service, dharma, should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Prabhupada had the purport read and he expanded on it further, explaining how people are only after material gain, neglecting the real purpose of life. Dr. Hopkins, do you think then that this message is the most important message that you have to convey? Prabhupada, that is the most important message because you are not this material body. Suppose you have got this shirt. So if you simply try to maintain the shirt, is that a very good intelligence? Without taking care of your person? Similarly, we are spirit soul and the body is just like dress. So in the whole material world, everyone is engaged to take care of the body. Nobody knows what is spirit soul, what is his need. Dr. Hopkins seemed pleased to hear such a broad explanation of Vaishnavism. When he asked about Shiva, Prabhupada explained that although Lord Shiva should not be considered equal to Lord Vishnu, he was the best Vaishnava, the chief devotee of Vishnu, and he could be worshipped as such. And Lord Rama? Srila Prabhupada explained that Rama was an incarnation of Krishna. Professor Hopkins was pleased to hear this. Prabhupada explained that Madhva, Ramanuja, and Vishnu Swami were all big acharyas. Dr. Hopkins then asked about Tukaram, the saint of Maharashtra. Prabhupada, yes, Tukaram accepted Vishnu as supreme. He accepted the process of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sankirtana, and he accepted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his guru. So there is no difference between Tukaram and Chaitanya. Dr. Hopkins, so Lord Vitthala and Krishna are the same? Prabhupada, Lord Vitthala is Vishnu. Dr. Hopkins, and the Alvars of Tamil Nadu, Adivasi, you accept their teachings also? So the real question is between Vaishnava and others. Prabhupada, yes, that is the question. Vaishnava and non-Vaishnava. The actual difference is personalist and impersonalist. Dr. Hopkins, you would see the worshippers of Shiva as impersonalists? Prabhupada, yes, impersonalists. Shankaracharya said that ultimately the absolute truth is impersonal, and one can imagine a personal form for the benefit of the worshipper. When Dr. Hopkins pointed out that some of the Shiva worshippers seem to be personalists, Prabhupada explained the real mentality of the Shaivites according to Shankara. Now, I'm a devotee, said Prabhupada, but as soon as I become perfect, I become one. That is their theory. In the preliminary state, when I am not perfect, I am worshipping some imaginary form of God. But when I become perfect, there is no need of worshipping. I become one. As a scholar, Dr. Hopkins was visibly pleased to hear the authentic philosophy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Prabhupada mentioned the Smart Brahmanas as also being impersonalists, Dr. Hopkins was surprised. It would be very difficult to pick them out, said Prabhupada. Most of the so-called Vaishnavas are impersonalists. Dr. Hopkins. So the deciding test as to whether one is a serious devotee or not is not only whether one is devoted now, but that he sees the goal as perpetual devotion. Prabhupada, yes, he is Nitya Yukta. That means perpetually. Dr. Hopkins considered this criterion and inquired about the position of Sri Aurobindo, who seemed to be beyond impersonalism. Prabhupada agreed. He says that above the Mayavad philosophy there is something else, Prabhupada explained. That is bhakti. But Aurobindo could not understand because he did not take education from realized persons. He wanted to realize by himself. Dr. Hopkins. So his problem was the effort to do this on his own? Prabhupada, yes. He did not go through the Guru Parampara. Therefore, it will take a long time. Dr. Hopkins finally had to leave and thank Prabhupada for his time and wisdom. Why don't you join us also? Asked Prabhupada. The whole human society should join us. Dr. Hopkins replied that he had been a friend of the devotees for many years and suspected that in the end he might end up as a sannyasi. Prabhupada pointed out that sannyas didn't mean a change of dress, but rather giving everything to Krishna. July 15, 1975. Srila Prabhupada had a direct flight from Philadelphia to San Francisco. He and Upendra sat in the first class section while Brahmananda Swami, Harikesha and Pradyumna traveled economy class. Vishakha Devi Dasi had also come to photograph Srila Prabhupada. After the plane had reached cruising altitude, a uniformed gentleman emerged from the cabin. Immediately he caught sight of Srila Prabhupada sitting by the window and walked over. When he leaned over and asked Prabhupada how he was, Prabhupada saw that the man wanted to talk. So he asked Upendra to get up and give the gentleman his seat. You are the captain? Prabhupada surmised. No, the man replied. I am a flight supervisor, come to overlook the pilot and the crew. Would it be all right if I asked you a philosophical question? Prabhupada nodded, apparently pleased. Is everything created by God? Srila Prabhupada said yes, and quoted the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadhyasya Yataha. Everything in existence, Prabhupada said, has its origin in God. Then what is evil? The flight supervisor asked. Is evil also God's creation? For God, there is not good or evil, Prabhupada explained. Everything is good. Goodness is God's frontage, and evil is God's back portion. Taking this example, the chest or the back of the body are equal. It is not that when there is some pain in the backside, I don't care for it. I simply take care of it when there is pain in the chest. No, although it is the backside, it is as important as the front side. So evil and good are also of the same importance? No. For God, there is nothing evil. Just like for the sun, there is no darkness. But for us, there is light and darkness. If you keep your back to the sun, you will find darkness. And if you face the sun, then there is no darkness. We create darkness as soon as we change our position. If instead of remaining in front of God, I keep God on the back, then there is darkness. Otherwise, there is no question of darkness. But in the sun, as it is, there is no such darkness. Therefore, God is all good. But for us, when we forget God, that is evil. And when we are in God consciousness always, then everything is good. Is that all right? The man seemed to understand and respectfully accepted the answer. He was about to ask another question when a well-dressed but somewhat drunken passenger came up to them and spoke. Srila Prabhupada looked up at the man and asked, Are you afraid of death? The intoxicated man stammered, sobered, and walked away. The flight supervisor inquired again, taking his meeting with Srila Prabhupada as a rare opportunity. Can you tell me how one can become peaceful? He asked. Srila Prabhupada began quoting Bhagavad Gita. Bhuktaram Yajna Tapasam, and signaling Vishakha asked for a copy of the Gita. The devotees quickly consulted, but no one had a Bhagavad Gita. When Prabhupada heard this, he became angry, although containing his feelings in the presence of his guest. He then explained to the man that one had to have knowledge of God as the supreme controller, the supreme enjoyer, and the best friend of everyone. Only then could one have peace. Out of foolishness, Prabhupada said, we are claiming the land as our property. Therefore, there is no peace. But actually, God is the proprietor. Both Srila Prabhupada and the flight supervisor enjoyed their talk, and as the flight supervisor excused himself, he heartily shook Prabhupada's hand. Prabhupada called for Pradyumna, his eyes glowing in transcendental anger. He reprimanded Upendra and Pradyumna for not having a copy of Bhagavad Gita. They should have one with them at all times. Pradyumna offered that although he didn't have Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, he just happened to be carrying an edition by another author. This infuriated Prabhupada even more. He then ordered Upendra never to travel again without carrying three books, Bhagavad Gita as it is, and the first volume of Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Berkeley, July 15, 1975. Within less than 2 weeks, Prabhupada had traveled from West Coast to East Coast and back. This was his first visit to ISKCON's Berkeley, recently acquired headquarters, a large church complex, and as usual, hundreds of devotees from many Western centers had converged to meet him. His arrival address specifically dealt with the position of the Guru. Only unto one with unflinching faith in Krishna and Guru, he explained, is the essence of Vedic wisdom revealed. Outsiders may think that the Guru is very puffed up, said Prabhupada, and he is sitting and taking respect from the disciple. But the fact is that they are to be taught like that, how to offer respect to the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada repeatedly encountered this misunderstanding. A year ago in Paris, he had been heckled by radical students who envied his sitting on an elevated seat. And in America, the reporters often portrayed him as enjoying material comforts provided by his disciples. But Prabhupada maintained that despite a plethora of charlatans bringing disrepute to the word guru, anyone sincerely desiring to learn transcendental science had to go to a bona fide guru, the representative of God. A guru's business, said Srila Prabhupada, is to protect the subordinate disciples from fall down. Just like I'm traveling all over the world, twice, thrice in a year, my duty is to see that my disciples who have accepted me as Guru may not fall down. That is my anxiety. Now, how can one become a Guru and representative of Krishna? Everyone will say, I'm representative of Krishna, I'm Guru. No, the real thing is enunciated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who says, Amara Agyaya Guru Haya Tara Desh. You just become Guru on my order. So Guru means he who is carrying out the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not self-made Guru. Okay, so let's pause here. All right, anybody who would like to share any of your thoughts, reflections on today's readings?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the beautiful reading. I really liked how Prabhupada gave such simple and holistic answers from Bhagavad Gita to the flight attendant, which was so satisfying to him. So that was one. And second, I also felt like when I carry Bhagavad Gita during travels and in flight, somehow Krishna arranges that Bhagavad Gita to be distributed to someone. And anytime that I have forgotten to take Bhagavad Gita, I always feel, oh, I could have given this Bhagavad Gita to someone. So, this just bolsters that we should always carry. And now Prabhupada said, take the first volume of Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and of course, Bhagavad Gita. So, just want to, we should all carry these and wherever we travel and pray to Krishna that send someone who can benefit from taking one of these books of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, it's like the three things, Hare, Krishna, and Rama. One is like Bhagavad Gita is the instruction of Guru. And of course, it's the Vani of Krishna, but yeah, it's like Krishna, Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Bhagavatam, which is Krishna personified, all three. So we need to take all three. Yeah, very good. Okay. Yeah, and yeah, like you said, yeah, how nicely he answered all the questions. Very simple yet profound. I think it left a mark on everybody. And again, yeah, like we see sometimes we have a question, yeah, why Prabhupada was angry at that Dr. Patel and he was an Indian body person, right? But at the same time, Dr. Hopkins, who's an American, in an American body, how nicely they were having a cordial talk. So again, a guru, again, Srila Prabhupada being a pure representative of the Lord, we sometimes can't see, but of course, a pure devotee can see, he can see through your eyes into the core of your heart, right? So again, sometimes when these exchanges happen, we may wonder, but yeah, like it just started as a very simple question, but Prabhupada immediately was angry at him, and so that means he could see what was his intention, because at the same time when that Miss Nixon and Jones, the two lady reporters, were asking, even the Prabhupada felt she didn't know, but he was not kind of upset at her, because he was seeing that okay, whatever she published, this will be read by many many of her readers. So yeah, it's just wonderful to see Prabhupada's interactions with all these people. It's not just really who you are as a person, whether you're a man or a woman or an Indian or an American, right? It doesn't really matter, like Prabhupada is saying again and again, but it is who you are at the core of your heart. And a true Vaishnava, pure devotee, can see that. You can see in the core of your heart. So so yeah, it was just funny how he was completely angry at him, despite he saying, oh, I offered obeisances, but but he was still in a challenging mood. He didn't want to surrender. So yeah, it's just amazing to read these pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, anybody else would like to share anything? Prabhakar Chaudhary Prabhu, I think you have. Are you here? Newly?
Hare Krishna.
Oh, Hare Krishna Mataji.
I'm Sangeeta Chaudhary, Mrs. Prabhakar Chaudhary.
Oh, okay, Mataji. Have you come
Hare
to our
Krishna,
center
Prabhuji.
before?
Yeah, I came
many-
so many times.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Oh, you have come many. So maybe I have not. Maybe if I see you, I'll know. But yeah, maybe the name didn't make a
Uh-huh.
connection. Yeah, thank you for joining, and hope you're liking this reading of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. We're reading from the biography of Srila Prabhupada's pastimes while he was here on this planet, some 1960, almost. This is the whole journey of Srila Prabhupada's life from his birth till he left this planet in 1981. Oh, sorry, 1977, at the age of 81 years. But right now we are here, 1975. So, yeah. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Anything you would like to share? Anything that you liked from today's reading?
I like this reading very much because I have some personal experience to that how the guru is important for our life, and how they try to that they're lightening our life in the right direction, because we are living in the material world, so we need to come in the spiritual world. So it's a guru who guide us that how you come to the spiritual world from the material world, because it's very difficult, no? And sometimes that the mind is disturbed and mind is not stable, that whether we go to the spiritual world or the material world. So I have some personal experience in my life. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Hare
Yeah, when we
Krishna.
connect
Hare
it to our
Krishna.
personal experiences, then it becomes deeper. Our realization becomes deeper, right? So yeah, like you said, Guru opens eyes. That's what we sing every morning. The prayer, the first prayer we sing, and our Mangalacharan is Om Ajnana Timirandasya, that we are born in this darkness of ignorance. We think we know everything, or we, with our own endeavors, can know everything, but that is the falsity of our false ego. And so when we
Yes.
surrender to a bona fide spiritual master, of course, there are a lot of bogus gurus also, like we know today's world. It's the age of hypocrisy, and so Kali Yuga is filled with bogus gurus also. So we have to know by ours. That's why we have to take shelter of our shastras. Through our shastras and through the association of devotees, we get association of pure saint, and then we can, like you say, yeah, you have to search. Of course, you have to search, and then we take shelter, and then we surrender, and then we serve. So right, so like that. So we search. We have free will. Yes, so we can explore. We search in all the directions, and if you really in the core of your heart we have sincere desire, our search is sincere, then like Mataji was saying, when she carries Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will make sure that that gets distributed. So like that, in our heart, if we are sincere, then Krishna will make sure that he is seated as Paramatma in the heart. He will send a pure devotee in our lives through which, through the association of pure devotees, we'll be able to make progress. So that is the mode. Because like Prabhupada was giving that example of Aurobindo, right? So he knew that there is something beyond impersonalism, but again, he didn't want to surrender. He wanted to do it himself. So that is why he was struggling. So eventually, yes, since his desire was sincere, Krishna will help, like Prabhupada was saying. But if we take shelter of a pure devotee, surrender, and serve them, tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, right? Then automatically everything becomes very, very simple and easy. So Krishna personally guides them in the form of the spiritual master. Thank you, Mataji, for that wonderful reflection.
Thank you. Hare Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else? Any other thoughts? All right, so let's pause here for today. I'll end with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit ki jai. Kartik Mas Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Have a blessed
Hare Krishna.
day.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.